Yes, well, back with you. Hello again, Jim Burns. What we got going on here today is a little bit of a Christmas emergency. Fella says this is off of his post-war Lionel caboose, and he can't get it to stay on the track. And so he pulled it off the caboose and couldn't figure out what to do with it. So off to Jimmy we go. All right, so we're going to see. I'll show you here what's happening. Drops right in. So the gauge is off on our trucks here, and it's just dropping in there. That's both sets are just falling right off and off the rails right onto the ties. So we don't need any tie walkers here. We want rail runners. So what we got to do, these are staple-in trucks, as you can see. I'll show you there. See, there's the staple. That's what they call it. And so what we got to do is take a look in here, and I'm not sure you can see it real good. Let's see. Grab my flashlight here. It's really not showing up. But anyhow, the cinch that they put on these axles from Lionel's factory is usually enough to last a long, long time, unless you don't oil it. And that's what's happened here. This thing has been run to death with no oil, and the dirt that's coming off of it isn't even dirty. It's oily. It's just the grindings from the wheel. That cinch actually acts like a boring mill, and it's creating a counter bore inside the diameter of the wheel here, and it's allowing the wheel to just move too far in, and it won't keep its gauge. So what we got to do is pull these wheels off of here and see if we can get this puppy to stay up on the railheads like it's supposed to. Like I said, he needs this for Christmas. That's why he's a little panicked. He wants it for his Christmas layout, and he doesn't have another caboose, so we'll get this set up for him. So once again, we'll bring in our snap ring tool here. If you remember on a previous video, I use these a lot. It's a nice gentle way to spread things like the E-unit and truck side frame. But you see it just squeezing just enough to release the wheel. All right. Then we can leave that cocked right there so we can put it back in. But if we take a look here now, you can kind of see that's just shavings right there. That's just metal shavings. These things are a mess. That's a shame. But we can fix it. This one seems to be the worst. That counter bore is getting a little deep in there. You see that ridge down inside? And that's all from the little pinch that Lionel puts on the axles. You can see it right here, right there. So let me wipe that off a little bit. Maybe it'll show up better. But it's just a slight pinch, just enough to keep the gauge correct on these axles and wheels. Let me get that on my finger a little bit. There we go. That one too. All right. So we'll pick our worst side here. And that's going to be this wheel here. I'll clean these up later before I give it back to them, but I just wanted to show you the repair I do for these. Our axle diameter is, what do we get here? This is, we don't 1 millimeter. There we go, 3/32. So we need a couple of if I can get it here, quite small, couple of steel washers, okay? You don't want to use brass or aluminum because they'll start, you know, dielectric reaction and all, dissimilar metals, it'll start to eat each other away. So that's a nice steel washer. And it's same hole diameter as our axle is in diameter. All right. And then if we take our bad wheel here, slip that on, and there you can see you get almost, probably a 32nd, maybe even a 1/16 of an inch. Well, let's measure it, shall we? Let me put it back on the axle, it'll be easier to hold. Sorry about the camera. Flipping all over the place. All right, that's a 32nd of an inch, that washer. Okay, but that's just enough. Oh, that's not it. This is the one, yeah. All right, so we'll put that on there. Let's put that on there. Well, let's just take a look on the rails before we do anything. Oh yeah, now even side to side, you can see nothing's dropping in. Rolling real nice. Okay, so let me get this one back in. Like I say, we got to do both of these because in sorry shape. So there we are. That one's set back in. Let's take a look. Very nice, very nice. Like I say, this one's still dropping in. Yep, that ain't gonna drop anymore. Alright, so let's pull this set of wheels. Like I said, I'll clean this all up for him before I give it to him, and oil it all up. Let's open her up a little bit here. Yeah, if you don't have a pair of these snap ring pliers, you should get some. You can see how easily and gently it just spreads that enough to get those wheels up and the axles. And this is much better than trying to dig at it with a pair of pliers like I see a lot of guys do. They'll try to pry the wheels and axles out of the journals, and all they wind up doing is marking up the wheels, and well, that's neither here nor there. It's not the way I do it. So anyway, and you can see, I believe somebody's been after this wheel. You can see fresh dig marks with a screwdriver and a little divot out of there. So just what I'm talking about. See, just you can ruin this stuff, you know. Don't do that. Get yourself a pair of spreaders like this, these snap ring pliers. Alright, let's take a look here. This wheel looks good. This one's covered with granules of steel. So what we'll do is we'll take our other washer here. Let's slide that on. Put that on this side. Drop that in there. Yeah, that one looks okay. And like I say, when you run these things forever without any lubrication, this is the stuff that'll happen. But luckily, we can fix them. There we go. So that's back in. Alright, let's give her a ride down the rails this time instead of the ties. Huh? Oh yeah. It's not dropping in now. How about that? So now you might say to yourself, Jimmy, that's fine for straights. What about the curves? You're changing the gauging of the wheels. Well, no. It's only a 32nd of an inch. Here's a 54-inch curve. It's tracking in. Has no trouble. Still got lots of wiggle room. You always got to leave a little bit of wiggle room on these. All right. And in case you're wondering, because I know some of you might be, what about the tighter turns of 027, which most people are using on their layouts? All right, well, let's take a look, see what happens. Works fine. No binder, goes right in. Needs some lubrication, of course, but all right, so our 1/32 inch washer has re-gauged these, and it's not going to fall off a track form anymore. So we're in great shape. There's that one. There's that one. They don't have to be opposite like this one. I was just putting them on whichever wheel was the worst. But yeah, we'll get these cleaned up now, and I'll lubricate everything. Give it back to him. He knows how to put the C-clip back on, so we'll give it back to him. He'll be happy. He'll have his caboose for Christmas. All right, we're done with this one. We'll get back to work on our Williams in a bit, and go from there. All right, toodles.